This meeting is being recorded.
Sand Great House Nonconformist Montefilia followed by Chapada, but Incentivize is coming away, 4 lengths in front, and Incentivize, what a star, won the Caulfield Cup from Nonconformist, dead heat third per Saddle Montefilia.
Welcome, punters, to the Whispers Racing Podcast, Caulfield Cup Day, Everest Day, depending on where you live and whatever state, Adelaide and Brisbane, whatever races they're throwing up, benchmark 70s. But welcome to another show. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, thank you, William. How are you, mate?
Yep, going well. Can't wait for the races. Maybe more looking forward to Sydney for once.
Yeah. Have you hired a tinny? You got a canoe?
Yeah,
Rubber dinghy?
Went down to the local BCF shop and hired a scuba gear for the races. So I've got it on rent for the day, and I'm hopefully be swimming from the 400 onwards come race day.
Is there any chance we're not on a heavy 10? Any?
If there's any bet you want to have, it is a heavy 10, and it's $1.0001 that it will happen.
Oh, so you haven't given us any hope whatsoever.
No, there's none, unless they pay for the helicopter to go over like PVL does with Sydney. But I think it's going to be a genuine 10, possibly a 20.
Okay, we'll look for the swimmers then.
Yeah, definitely. Well, last week, mate, you might as well kick things off.
Mate, I'm very, very glad that you took my tip and ran with it for the pineapple. So thank you. The community was quite happy with Palali.
Yes. Oh, funny story. I had no idea you tipped it. I completely forgot. And then we were exchanging messages. It was, you just dropped that in front of me, and I'm like, oh wow, I did. But
It's all right, mate. We're here to pick winners, and we picked plenty of them last week. Nice to go 3 from 3. Golden Mile, obviously, Best of Bordeaux and Palali. So it was a nice weekend, especially for those who don't mind tipping a favourite. Yeah,
it was. It's a good point. It was a favourites day. Normally is Caulfield Guineas, but Paul Ailey was, I thought it was more impressive than what it looked, because it copped one at about 100 over the snout. Zaki went backwards when it happened to it 2 weeks ago, and this one wanted the line. Good win. Shocked it didn't go to the Everest, because I said whoever wins out of Godolphin horses goes to the Everest, but I think they've aimed it for the Manicato. Smart move. And Ingratiating was really good, I thought, in that, and goes to the Everest. The Guineas, well, a lot of people were potting what we liked, and I've never yelled any louder at the races on Saturday when it's about 20 to go. I just roared. I said it wanted the line with 20 to go in the podcast. J-Mac, an ultra impressive jockey. Anyone else on it would have got a beat. It was a good win. Happy with the result. It's just amazing when you just dive a little bit deeper into horses, the way they run and what splits they do. They can run out of 1,600. So I'm going to blow my own trumpet and say, you fucking beauty. It's good win.
It was a good win and another J-Mac special. So I think you're right. I don't necessarily know whether it's a miler, even though it is called Golden Mile. But yeah, J-Mac definitely got every inch out of it last weekend.
Talking about inches, the Might and Power race. Wow, first time I saw Animo on track. First time I seen Zaki on track. Wow, they're just machines, those two horses. When they come in the yard, they're Group 1 horses. They just parade like, hey, look at me, I'm the best friggin' horse here. And then you'll go to watch a benchmark 70 and they play up like they're bloody 2-year-olds at kindergarten. But yeah, it was good to see them. What a race it was. If you have to be critical of Jamie, she maybe pushed the button too quick on Zaki, but in the end, I think it was the right decision because it got alligator blood completely off and gone. And round the corner, someone yelled out in the crowd, Animo's gone. And then I reckon within 2 seconds, he just yelled out, fuck. Great race. Can't wait to see him in the Cox. Thoughts?
Well, probably a question for yourself. Did we see the winner of the Cox Plate?
I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. I think there's a horse sitting there that we haven't mentioned, and we'll mention him next week. And I've mentioned it on the community.
Yep.
There's one hidden there. Well, it's not hidden, but it's well found. But I think there's an X factor there. Out of that race, geez, will Animo crab around like it did at Caulfield? I don't know. If the conditions are going to be heavy, I want to be with Brightside. I think he's a genuine heavy tracker.
Yep.
But, I've got no idea. I'm probably going to have 17 different opinions between 5:30 Saturday night and then till Thursday, then till next Saturday. But, I don't know.
The only thing I will say, and you mentioned it, I wasn't expecting Animo to wobble around the corner like it did.
Yeah.
That surprised me a little bit. So is that going to hold it back at the Valley? It's probably more of a sweeping corner than what Caulfield is. So it may not. It is a little bit tighter, but overall, I do believe we did see the Cox Plate winner win last weekend.
Did you get the 21s?
Get the 21s. They've had a nibble.
Yeah, it's going to be a good race. Can't wait to dive into that in the coming 7 days' time. Turak, well, wasn't that a bit of a disappointment? I wish I win. I don't know. A lot of people have different opinions on the ride and the horse. I think the barrier got it beat. The conditions got it beat. You just couldn't make significant ground on Saturday. You just had to be within striking distance. And I think J-Mac gave it away. He got into his horse early along the side to get them near the front when they straightened. So you can't drop off. I wish I win. I think it goes to the Golden Eagle. So I'll be keen to see it up there. Disappointed it won't be in the Cox. But, thoughts?
Yeah, look, I didn't end up having a bet in that race. I didn't think I wish I win was a certainty within it, and I wasn't taking the $2 on offer. So probably not as surprised as some people. It was probably due. It had a few very, very good races. Like you, I would have liked to see that in a Cox Plate up against some of those weight for age horses. I think it would have been a really interesting contest. But probably not as surprised as a few others.
Yeah. Pineapple, we mentioned Paul Ailey, so we're 2 in a row. We're going for 3. I wish it wasn't my turn this week with the conditions, but that's the way it is. Buying shares, you buying anything this week, Matty?
Mate, we'll pop in one in the Congo. I mentioned it a few weeks ago. Its trial, absolutely sensational. It's nominated for 3 races this weekend, so surely it wins one of them. No, but I think it's in for a very, very decent preparation, and I do see it winning a couple of decent races across the carnival. So in the Congo,
I think if Gay had a choice, she'd run him in all 3 and try and win one of them.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I'm going to be a bit obvious here. My share is King's Gambit, the 2-year-old. What a win it was from a 2-year-old. I've never seen anything like that this early. Looking forward to see the horse in the autumn. That's King's Gambit. I won't declare it now because it is a 2-year-old. Cash out, Matty. Anything to cash out on?
Nothing to cash out on. Portfolio is looking quite nice at this stage.
Yeah,
yourself?
Yeah, it is. I'm just going to cash out on this midweek racing at Caulfield, the 1,000 Guineas Day, and also the Friday night before the Cox Plate. Look, I know conditions are going to play a big part this week, and it has previously at the Cox Plate, but our best races are always getting run on chewed up tracks. Caulfield Cup, it's race 27 of a 3-day carnival over 7 days. And then we're going to find out how bad it is now for this week. And then the Friday night, it just always ruins the Cox Plate. It's always race 18. It's either going to be a monorail or they're going to be, wide and in the middle of the lanes. Just stick to your big days, one race day, and just get the best track possible. Melbourne Cup's not run after 40 races. It's raced the second day of Carnival on a good, nice, perfect track. So, yeah, I just don't like it. I know the turnover is king and it will never change, but it's our best meetings. Let's run them on the best tracks possible, not the worst track possible. That might lead into what the weather will be next week as well.
No, well, look, I mean, realistically, I don't think these years are probably exceptions when we're running on heavy 10s, but does need to be consideration for when you're running 4 days before your largest race at the track for the year.
Yeah, and Caulfield needs a Renault, and they're going to get it shortly. Moonee Valley desperately need a Renault, and they're getting it in a couple of years, but it's just... it's just something that's been grinding my gears for a very long, long time. And we are just not up to it. Nothing against track managers. They do a great job, but it's just the tracks are chewed up. Track stats. Well, there's not much track stats I can give you on this race day, but go to BCF and go and hire a scuba gear because the horses are going to need flippers. They're going to need mouthpieces. They're going to need the works to get through this. If you can't swim, scratch your horse, don't turn up. Look for fit horses on speed. Where they're going to be, we don't know. They'll be inside early. They'll be wide later. They'll be middle. They'll be like Wednesday, just all over the shop, trying to find the best ground. There'll be no lanes, I don't think. It'll be just who is the fittest horse on speed. Sorry, it's no help, but blame the weather. Trial trackers this week. We're going race 7 Caulfield. Number 9, Dragonstone. It's had 2 trials in Sydney and thought it had come back well. Most recent trial, it finished second in the Congo and was ridden out, which I don't mind. Barrier 2 might be a little concerned, but going off its trials, it looks to have come back really, really well. That is race 7, number 9, Dragonstone.
I'll just jot that one down.
All right, runner by runner, we're doing for Caulfield Cup, and we do a little preview for the Everest. Just because of the conditions, guys, it's going to be so bad. There's so many races we can't bet into, but because it's such an open Caulfield Cup, we might be able to steer you into a couple here at some good odds. So Caulfield Cup, 2,400 meters, Group 1, run at 5:15. We'll go through number 1, Gold Trip, Kieran Ma, Dave Eustace, Mark Zara, barrier 12, $13.58, 57.5 kilos. Matty.
Gold Trip. I would prefer it if it wasn't on a heavy 10. I liked its run in the Turnbull. When they weren't making ground, I thought it was quite a decent run. Definite top 5 chance, and if it was a good track, I would be very tempted to have this horse on top. But heavy 10 is probably pulling me back to top 5 at best.
Okay. Yep. Gold Trip coming out of a race that ranked 8th best of the day. A little concerned, but the race was like an F1 race. Nobody moved, but I didn't mind the run. I thought it looked better than what it does. I know it's bad off at the weights, but I think it's a genuine top 3 chance. 3 starts on the heavy for 2 placings. Number 2, Duas, trainer Edward Cummings, jockey Josh Parr, barrier 9, 55.5 kilos, $13.
Right. Again, another one not suited to these conditions. At its best, it would absolutely brain this field. I've got it as a second top rated horse within the field, but I can't tell you that it's going to finish in the top 10, given how it's actually been set up for this race. You're going to have to take it on trust, and I don't believe it's going to handle the conditions. So unfortunately, Duas will be a pass for myself.
Yep, Duas. Did a bit wrong this prep and playing catch up now. But its track work during the week I heard was spot on, but it's a no from me. 4 starts on the heavy for 4 duck eggs. Number 3, Knight's Order. Gay Waterhouse, Adrian Bott, Tim Clark, 55.5 kilos. Barrier, 18, $11.
Well, there's going to be more horses fighting for who's going to be last in this race out of the barriers than what there is for the leader. Knight's Order will be leading this race, and it will be a very, very easy lead for it. There's going to be no pressure. It's going to jump the gates from barrier number 18, cross them over. There's going to be absolutely no pressure for this horse leading. Now, like it did in the Sydney Cup, I think in the mid-race, it's going to be very interesting to see if it turns up the tempo. I don't necessarily think it's going to get the same break like it did in the Sydney Cup, but it's not without a chance. And I can definitely see with Tim Clark on board why it's $11.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're a bit different here. I think the pace will be brutal. It's just when it will be brutal. Will it be early trying to cross, or will it be from the 1,000 meters? I don't know. I'm thinking it's from the 1,000. Tim Clark puts the hammer down. I'd forgive last start. They went way too slow, and that was Geordie Child. It normally goes a solid tempo, brutal tempo if you want to be precise. Tim Clark now on, who is the best jockey for leaders. Barry 18 will come across and lead. We'll make this a staying test from the 1,000. That's what I think it'll be. Loves the wet. 5 starts, 2 wins, 2 placings. Number 4, Montefilia, David Payne, Jason Collect, Barry 16, 55.5 kilos, $19.
No issues with the wet ground for Montefilia. Look, ran 4th last year, an absolutely cracking race. So 3rd up here is going to be interesting. 2nd up in the Hill Stakes was absolutely flat. I'm completely forgiving that run. Not ideal leading into this race, but it runs the numbers that is going to be having it around the mark. So Montefilia at $21 is one that does interest me. The heavy track, absolutely no issues whatsoever. It will eat it up.
Yeah, I think the Cascadian form is the right form, but it had nothing left when the race was on. Jockey blamed the conditions last start when it's won twice from 6 starts. Not copping that from the jockey. That is not good enough an excuse when it beat Very Elegant on a heavy 9, got beaten by Very Elegant by 2 lengths on a heavy 10. So don't tell me last start heavy 8, conditions blamed. Not good enough. Back to how I think it'll go. Montefilia is a no from me. I don't think he's going anywhere like she was. Number 5, New Miriam, 3rd time lucky. Annabelle Nation, Tommy Berry, 55 kilos, barrier 10, $12.
New Marion, look, this is an interesting one. The heavy track is not going to be an issue. It looked the winner for quite a lot of the Hill Stakes before Cascadian got the better of it. 2,400 metres won't be an issue. Look, honestly, top 5 result won't be a surprise.
Same horse. Oh, sorry. Same as the last horse before, and the correct form. And I know it was beaten 3 lengths, but they went a suicidal pace up front and had to drop out. If they can make it sit off Knight's Order, and it'll look the winner. T. Berry goes off non-compromised for this horse. I think it's a chance. 7 starts, 1 win, 4 seconds on the heavy track. Number 6, non-conformance, barrier 15, Graham Begg, Geordie Childs, 54.5, $11.
Look, I'd prefer it to be a little bit drier than a heavy 10 for non-conformist, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be too detrimental to it. It's 4 starts this preparation. It's just been out for a run. It's had absolutely no pressure, and it's just been building its fitness up. Only got beaten by an absolute star in Incentivised this time last year. And the Graham Begg stable has set this horse for this race. The race pattern, it'll get back from barrier 15. It'll find some cover, and at the right time, it'll peel wide, depending on how wide it needs to go. May decide on if this horse is a winning chance or not. But from a ratings point of view, it is right in this non-conformist.
Yeah. SP $9 last year in Caulfield Cup against Incentivised. Now you're getting $11. Interesting. There's no Incentivised this year, and it's a lot easier, I reckon. Non-conformist has gone the wait for age route, knowing that they've had to start this prep. We'll be peaking for this. Hard to assess. It hasn't seen a worse track than soft 7. Follow the market for this horse. It will tell you the story. 0 starts on the heavy. I'm on the fence with this horse. Number 7, Vow and Declare, barrier 17, Danny O'Brien, Blake Shin, 54 kilos, $21.
If it was a dry track, it would be in my top 3. Unfortunately, it's not. Needs it dry. I can't see it. Not for me.
Was ridden. Oh, sorry. It was a hidden gem run in the Bart Cummings race. Held up and hit the line well. Thought it would have won with a bit of luck. Was giving this horse a huge chance, but the unknown really on a heavy track. Barrier 17, will they roll forward or go back? I think they'll go back. 1 start on the heavy for an unplaced. Number 8, No Compromise. Barrier 13, Chris Waller Craig knew it, 53.5, $19.
Look, suited to the conditions. No issues with a heavy track here. I think it'll, from barrier number 13, it'll be one of the ones falling out and finding cover. It may get the opportunity to sit a little bit closer. Interestingly enough, I think Gold Trip on its inside may be able to give it a bit of a toe to sit closer than what it has previously. So at odds, No Compromise is a real live chance. There's not too many knocks I can find on this horse, and it's going to run around benchmark, and that's where I see the winner running. So 20s plus, No Compromise, live chance for me.
Okay, interesting. Great win last start, considering it had to swap course to win. Great ride by T. Berry. Good heavy track stats, peaking at the right time. I don't know how it turns the table on Knight's orders in these conditions. 13 starts on the heavy for 3 wins, 7 placings. Number 9, Algaron. Barrier 14, Jay Cummings, Ethan Brown, $10.
Look, another one, I'll prefer it on dry ground. Hasn't raced within a month, so that scratching for the Turnbull is definitely not ideal. And for that reason, I'm going to struggle to have it here. Worm, you mentioned you need fit horses going in on heavy 10s. I can't have this horse when it hasn't raced in a month, so it'll be a pass for me.
Yep, very good point. Really liked its horse chances in the Turnbull after being scratched. Not ideal going into a big race. Beat Knight's Order in Sydney in its most recent win, but I can't recommend with this prep. 2 starts on the heavy for 1 placing. Number 10, Benno. Barrier 20, John O'Shea, Regan Bayless, 53 kilos, $9.
No issues with the heavy track here. I think it'll run quite well on the heavy. From barrier number 20, I think it's only got one option, and that's to give me crossing them and finding the fence right at the back of the field. So not ideal. Look, you might find Regan Bayless can work a little bit of magic and find a little bit closer. But my biggest issue with this horse, and I've followed it from its very first start, it doesn't have a tremendous turn of foot across the last 200 metres. So if it's way back in the field, I can't see it passing another 18 horses to win this race. So $9 for me is way unders. And unfortunately, I won't be tipping anyone into Benno.
Yeah, don't mind that point about its turn of foot. 100% agree. Imagine if it cuts the corner.
It could. And as I said, Regan could weave a little bit of magic. We saw it on Wednesday, but J-Mac's not riding it.
Yeah. Well, good point. It was good in a hot race last week. Barrier 18 is huge concern because they'll have to go back. Wasn't meant to be here due to a medication mishap. Should have been in the Metro. Not ideal for me. I don't like preps where they've got to change their mind. 4 starts for 2 placings on the heavy, but $9. Leave me out of that. Number 11, Grey House, Barrier 3, Chris Waller, Brett Preble, 53 kilos, $21.
Yep. Again, another one with no issues with the wet track. Fit last year, weren't cutting the corner, as you just said. It might get the opportunity from barrier number 3 to be doing something very, very similar to what it did last year, and not the worst at $26. So, look, if you're a fan of Great Horse, a Great House, I wouldn't be talking you out of it. I won't be backing it, but I can see it running in top 10.
Yep. Great House has an SP of $3.60 against Numerain, or Numerain, which you must respect because now you're getting $21 against $12. Typical Waller, 2 wide barriers, first 2 starts, taking them back. They will sit midfield now from barrier 3. Has okay wet track form, must add into your tries and first 4s. 3 starts for 2 placings on the heavy. That is Grey House. Number 12, Inspirational Girl, Barrier 1, Danny O'Brien, John McNeil, 53 kilos, $14.
John McNeil, a little bit unlucky here. Inspirational Girl, travelling quite well. Heavy 10, can't have it, unfortunately. Wouldn't be surprised if they went another direction and it didn't run on the weekend.
Ooh. We bet on scratchings. Who's going to be first scratched?
Yeah, there's a few.
Inspirational Girl, Barrier 1 is no good due to the conditions that we're going to see. Was a flashing light out of the turnbull and wanted to be on this horse, but I don't think conditions or barrier will help this horse. 1 start for unplaced on the heavy. Number 13, Maximal, Barrier 19, John O'Shea, Ben Mallum, 53 kilos, $21.
Unfortunately for Benny Mallum, similar to Inspirational Girl, Maximal, heavy 10, no good whatsoever. So I can't go near it.
Yes, wants a dry track. I'll be backing this for the first horse to be scratched out of the race. Wouldn't surprise me if they scratch it for next week. No, 0 starts on the heavy. Number 14, Sound, Mike Moroney, Blake McDougall, 53 kilos, $101.
Yeah, not this wet for Sound. Look, I've seen definite worse horses travelling around $150, but I won't be putting $1 on it this time round.
Yeah, form has been poor. I don't rate that New Zealand form from last prep, and it's no from me. 1 start for unplaced on the heavy. Number 15, Chapada, Barrier 11, Mike Moroney, Daniel Stackhouse, 52.5 kilos, $51.
If this got to if there was any chance of this getting to a soft track, it would be a chance. Ran 6th last year in a much better edition of the Caulfield Cup. So, look, unfortunately, if it's a heavy 10, I think it's going to be one of the horses struggling. Otherwise, it's travelling quite well, and it's definitely the better chance out of Mike Moroney's stable within this race. But unfortunately, the heavy 10 might get Chapada this time around.
Yeah, first ups and second up were good. Forget last start as you couldn't make ground in the Turnbull, and at 50s, it's overs and is a knockout hope. 2 starts on the heavy for 1 placing. Number 16, Crystal Pegasus. Barrier 2, Chris Waller, D. Thornton, 52 kilos, $61.
Look, doesn't mind it wet. I tried to find a way to push this horse at odds. I really did, but unfortunately, it's given us nothing this preparation. I went back, had a look at the runs, and thought, were they just trying to build its fitness? No. When it was asked in the Turnbull, it gave absolutely nothing, and that was quite similar to the rest of its preparation. So, unfortunately for Crystal Pegasus, I can't go near it. So, Yeah, fingers crossed it doesn't pull something out of thin air, but I won't be on board.
I think they've left a zero off the end of this price. Conditions won't suit. It's a clear no. 4 starts, 1 placing on the heavy. Number 17, Smoking Romans, barrier 5. Kieran Maher, Dave Eustace, Jamie Carr, 51.5 kilos, $4.40.
I've got absolutely no knocks on this horse. The ground won't be an issue. It's had the perfect lead up. It's going to sit quite close. It'll be probably within the top 5. And from there, it'll be able to, well, Jamie Carr will just be able to make her own luck. The race looks like it's going to be exceptionally well suited. The only concern that you could possibly have is if it tries to follow Knight's Order, and if Knight's Order does go exceptionally hard at that 1,000-metre mark, as you mentioned, it might find it wanting a little bit across the last 200 metres. That's the only knock I could find on this horse. Loved its run in the naturalism. I thought that was an unbelievable run. $5 looks like it could be quite a decent offering. Yeah, look, not too many knocks other than the price. William, how did you see it?
Yeah, it's the favour of the race. Been a good prep and keeps improving. You cannot knock this horse. Conditions will suit. Perfect barrier. Probably deserves to be favourite. Drops in weight. Can win. I don't want to get involved at the price. 3 starts for 2 placings. That is Smoking Romans. I'm probably going to regret this, but I can't be with it. I think it's hurting for me to even say it. That's how much I'm... 18, Charlie Rose. Barrier 8, Simon Wild. Dean Yendall, 51.5, $81.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't have it. It's a hard no for me for Charlie Rose.
Short and sharp. I might go a bit longer then. You couldn't back this horse with stolen money. 12 months ago, it was flying, but hasn't come back as well. But this camp has been going poor of late. This week, their horses have improved out of sight. I wonder if it can happen here. I'm going to say no. 0 starts on the heavy for 0. 19, Durstons is Chris Waller, Mike D, Mick D, 51.5, barrier 6, $21.
I think it'll get a run. Can we bet on that?
Yeah, I reckon it gets a run too.
I think it does get a run. Look, doesn't mind it wet. I prefer others, and I've actually rated this one at the bottom of the field. So that's where I'm seeing it.
Okay. Wyong and Newcastle Cup winner. I don't think is the right form. Went well in the Metro. 1 start on the heavy for unplaced. Number 20, Markham, Ben and JD Hayes. No jockey as yet. 50 kilos, $31. I might put my hand up to ride it.
Untried on a heavy track. Look, you would have to know something very special to be putting money on this. So a no from me.
It is a flat no from me. Betting strategy. What are you doing, Matty?
Mate, I've almost talked myself into backing Smoking Romans after I've just spoken about it, similar to what you have. Again, I can't knock the horse other than the $4.80 we're getting offered for it. Yeah, look, it's we may have egg on our face for not backing it, but I won't be backing it. I've landed on non-conformist. Concern around how it does perform on a heavy 10. I think from what I've seen on soft tracks, it will be okay. So non-conformist, $50. Montefilia, who I am very confident is going to be running well on a heavy track, completely forgiven its last run in the Hill Stakes. And I think we'll be pleasantly surprised with how it runs. And No Compromise as the other one. Again, likes the heavy track. So no issues there. Seawaller, Froggy Newart on board. $25. William, where did you land?
I've changed my bet mid your deliberating there. So I'm having 3 bets. We're going to have $40 on Knight's Order. We're going to have $40 on New Moraine. I butchered it again. And we're going to have a $20 exacta. We're going to take Smoke and Romans to win from Knight's Order or Numerain to run second.
Okay, so a bit of a saver.
Yeah, just a little saver. I don't know why. I wanted to take him on all week, but just the kilos, the barrier, the jockey, the prep, it's just smells beautiful.
It definitely does, and I think that's probably the message to our listeners is if you do like it, we're not talking you out of it because I can't find too many things to knock it. I see this as a really even edition of the Caulfield Cup, other than the track bias that we may see with those who like running on a heavy track. And that's why two of my bets are very much weighted towards horses that enjoy running on heavy tracks.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's a very, very open race. Oh, anyone could win. Just hopefully not the ones we've potted. WhatsApp, if you want to be part of it, we're not going to go through a lot of races, guys, so you can get our thoughts in the community. So DM me if you want to get involved, as I reckon this week could be very vital with the heavy trackers. So DM me and get involved. Ramwick, Everest, 1,200 meters, open, weight for age. Hasn't even got a group next to it. 6.2 million to the winner. Matty, your thoughts?
Look, we went against Nature Strip last start. I won't be doing that again.
Did you say we?
Okay, I did.
Yeah, thank you.
I won't be doing that again, but I don't know if I'll be back in it. Let's put it that way. Not at $2. So what I'll be doing is I'll be playing. I think the top four is where I'll be looking, and I'm quite keen to have something on Masked Crusader. Definitely, given they're offering $3.10 currently the place. So that's where I'll be focusing my attention. Masked Crusader around the place, and might have a small go at the win. But yeah, look, Nature Strip. Oof. How could you go anywhere else?
Yeah, agree. I don't know how they beat it. He is the best. You never take on the best. I think he wins. Barrier 12 is good for him. He's going to step half slow. I keep saying it. He just steps that half a bit slow, but he's got an Eduardo in 9, Shades of Rose in 8, who will get him across eventually. Yep. He could be 3 wide. He'll be in the perfect ground, though. It is a great barrier. Do I want to take $2? Nah, I'll be right, thanks. I'll look for value. So I'm keen to have something here on Jacquino, here at the place at around the $3. Beat Half Cabin, first up. It was $2 for the Caulfield Guineas before it went amiss. Then beat Golden Mile by 1.47. And we know what Golden Mile did in the Caulfield Guineas. Yes, people are saying it's 1,200 meters this race, but that was a good tempo that day, and you'll get a good tempo here. So barrier 2 can sit about 3 lengths off him, and at 53 kilos, D-Lane on board, I don't mind this horse at all to take $3 the place. Masked Crusader looks to be going good, as probably where it was 12 months ago. We'll be steaming home. I just wonder how much of a head start it's going to be giving Eduardo and Nature Strip, but he'll be dead set rocketing home. Eduardo, if you like him, forget about last start because Nash wasn't on. Brendan Vidala was on, and he went that slow. I reckon we could have gone faster running. That doesn't suit the horse. It likes to break their hearts. Nash knows how to ride this horse. He will look the winner at some point. So if you like Eduardo, don't jump off him from last start because Nash is on board and Nash loves cash.
Thoughts quickly on Damian Lane and Craig Williams. Caulfield Cup Day heading up to Sydney.
Yeah, because I like Jacquino. It's a smart decision, and it's the best decision he's going to make. Yeah, Craig Williams. I don't know what they're doing here. Don't get me wrong. It's a great horse, Giga Kick. Is he going to be competitive? No. Yeah, I don't know why. I think Willow just wants to stay on board for the Coolmore in 2 weeks' time. So that's why he's following. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't. I'd be shocked if Giga Kick even looks the winner at some point.
Tend to agree, especially given the class within this particular field. But
Yep.
I think you're on the money that he will be protecting his ride for a few weeks' time.
Yep, and smart. Good luck to him. Hope they win, especially for Clayton Douglas. Deserves it. But I think Nature Strip wins and wins easily. But my main bet in the race would be Jacquino the place at $3. I'm going to play exactas with him. Nature Strip into Jacquino. Might even reverse him just in case. But they're my two bets: Nature Strip and Jacquino.
That sounds like a nice little trifecta.
Yeah. Or even first four, chuck Eduardo in as well, and Bob's our uncle. Around
Happy
the grounds,
days.
Matty, what do you like?
Well, I took down one of your notes from earlier, the trial tracker, Dragonstone. And I will be on board Dragonstone. I think it's right up to this class. It's stepping up, but it'll handle the heavy conditions. And it's in the Congo trial. In the Congo trial was exceptional. Now we've backed this horse before, and I think it'll be well suited at Caulfield on the weekend. So Dragonstone, I think it's around about 320 to 350 at the moment. So I'll be interested to see what the market does. Outside of that, we'll also be going up to Sydney for in the Congo. Now, be careful. There's 22 runners in this particular race. Now, I'm talking about the Sydney Stakes, not the other two races it's nominated for. I think it'll be running in the Sydney Stakes. $6 you can currently get for it. I wouldn't be wanting to take any less than that with 22 runners. So, believe that this horse is in for quite a large preparation. So I'll be backing it not just here, but in its future runs as well. So in the Congo, we've already mentioned Master Crusader as well.
Yeah, nice. As I was just trying to think what we were saying then. We both like it, punters. So when we align, it's quite scary because we do our form completely different, and we know what happened with Golden Mile when we aligned. Maybe Dragon.
You can throw Paul Ailey in there as well.
Oh yeah, Paul Ailey. Sorry, yep, I forgot I stole that off you. Yep. Around the grounds for me, I don't like anything. Get my thoughts through to the community. There's a lot more to be done. I haven't got my scuba gear yet, so I'm going to wait till that arrives before I do anything. Multi. I think it's quite obvious what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go race 3 Ramwick Cascadian, the win, $1.60. And then I'm going to go Caulfield race 9, Knights Order the place at around $3. Matty, what are you chucking in?
Good little bit of value there. Master Crusader in the Everest for a place. Steaming home. And Dragonstone for a place.
Wow, there we go. 30, around 30s, depending on who you bet with. So yeah, nice little one to win, 3 the place. We know how this ends, punters. We all know how this ends.
There we go, last week.
2 out of 4. I think we got 1 each, and we can blame each other for the other 2. So
okay,
50-50 split.
Yes, I think it was Persan that ran 4th was the one I missed.
Yeah, that stuffed our multi first. So yeah, it's your fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
First leg out. I think you got the first leg in and then first leg out.
Yes.
Pineapple of the week. Oh, I don't know.
Cascadian?
No. You. What was your word? I will shoot you if you put it in.
Fair to say, I wouldn't have been recording this if you put Cascadian as your pineapple.
Yeah. If he gets out the $2, can I change it? Nah. But I think I found one here, punters. Caulfield, race 2, number 6, St. Bethanes. Great win on the heavy 10 first up. Second up, no luck. Last start was last in the Seymour Cup at Bendigo. Went to the outside, ran on nicely on a track that it's hard to make ground on. Can sit midfield from barrier 8, listed grade back to benchmark 80. Hope the fave stays in. so we can get a good price. Currently $5.50. That's Caulfield Race 2, number 6, St. Bahans.
Jeez, that would get us up to an absolute flyer.
Going 3 from 3, and yeah, just it's seen heavy 10 before and absolutely pissed in that day. And I think it does.
Has a certain bookmaker got an offer on in race 1 and race 2 this weekend?
Free hit.
Very
with Tab.
good.
I think last week I went 3 from 5 in the free hits for the community. So come and get my thoughts. It's, get a free hit. There's nothing like a free hit. I think it's one of the best promos going around because it's a free friggin' hit.
And we've got a pineapple on it.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, that's scary.
Oh, how good's this?
I might have to split the bets up so I can take advantage of that $50 free hit. And then, I'll be in my scuba gear at Caulfield at about the 250 metre mark swimming.
Well, mate, enjoy. I haven't heard it stop raining since we started, so not looking promising.
Nah,
anyway.
Not at all. But that's what it is. So good luck, punters. Hopefully you fill your pockets up. More importantly, we hope we filled your pockets up like Matty did last week. And I just rode the coattails and borrowed his tips for the pineapple. We'll be back next week for Cox Plate Day. Stay well, fill your boots up, and just let our number one supporter give us our final words for the show. Have a good weekend, punters, and go well.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.